Welcome back to the lounge, guys. I am Steve. We've got Eric Wilford Walk.
Some dude.
Wow!
Wandered off the street.
We just opened the garage door and let him walk in. Eric Wilfred Watson. And today we are going to talk about something in a different light than I think what we would normally talk about things. We're going to talk about a movie that we have not seen yet.
That we don't want to see, and that we're not going to see.
Yeah, and it's a recently released movie.
That we almost saw.
That we were very close to seeing. And we're going to kind of walk through the reasons why. But while I try and get this sucker going again, Eric, what movie are we talking about today?
I don't have any idea how to pronounce it. Joker Folie, Deux, but apparently that's not correct. It's something French that I can't say. But we'll just, for the sake of argument, call it Joker 2.
Joker 2.
We had originally done a reaction on this channel.
Yes.
You had never seen the original Joker. I was a big fan of it. I'm like, how the hell are you a Batman fan and you've never seen this movie before? So we did a reaction and we both loved it. It was fun to watch it again. You really liked it, as far as I could tell.
I fell in love with that one.
So we were really excited to see Joker 2 when it came out. We were going to. I was looking to showtimes, but we just got too busy and weren't able to go. And then we started to see X and YouTube. And it didn't sound like it was on par with the original, shall we say.
Yeah, and it's weird because obviously, I mean, between what we do here and then a lot of the stuff that I do on my other channel, What You Take, I'm in with a lot of what we nickname as Rumorville and a lot of sometimes the spoilers that come across or the plot details that maybe get leaked early. And I like to think I'm usually not too bad about not letting that sway me so much on it. But with a lot of credible sources and a lot of the specific details that were getting released about this as it was out in theaters and as people's reviews were coming in, I remember we had a conversation and I don't think it took more than 5 seconds to just be like, we don't want to see this movie because if any of this is even remotely true, it's going to ruin the first one.
Thanks, Dad. This really ruins it.
And I don't want that to happen. I want to keep it on the pedestal that I've now put it on.
Yeah, it seems like the movie, from everything I've read, and I don't doubt the sources, it's been confirmed multiple ways independently and whatnot. The movie exists. Fact check us if we get something wrong. But it just seems like the whole point of the movie was to completely undo, dismantle, and throw in the garbage can everything that was happening in the original movie.
Yep.
Including discarding the fans that liked the original movie.
Yep. So, I mean, I don't know. I've got some things that I found from a bullet point perspective that I want to go through and kind of get your opinions on that. So I found this image that came through and the nickname for it is literally Joker Details on Disaster. And so the whole premise for this film, supposedly the idea came to Joaquin Phoenix in a dream. Okay, that's neither here nor there. I mean, I guess your inspiration has to come from somewhere, right? So I mean, sure, whatever. Todd Phillips had free reign with Warner Bros. Wanting him to do his thing, and the film had no test screenings. That is shocking in today's culture to not have a test screen.
I am not terribly surprised that the studio gave him carte blanche to do whatever he wanted, because the original Joker movie, I don't recall off the top of my head, but I think the budget was somewhere in the neighborhood of 80 million and it grossed over $1 billion worldwide.
Right.
So it was just a gigantic cash cow. It was one of the most profitable movies ever.
For sure.
So naturally, Warner Brothers like, yes, please, more please.
Yeah.
We like money.
No, absolutely.
Go do that again. And they should have at least kind of paid attention to what that was going to be.
Yep. Well, I agree with you on giving him the blank check for it, but then how do you not do a test screen at least, see what's going on with it? Because there had been, with the recent trailers in the upcoming Marvel movie, Captain America, A Brave New World, people walked out of the test screenings for that. And the studio went back and they're making some changes. That's the point, is see how the audience is reacting. So the fact they didn't do that shocks me.
Similar to the reshoots that are happening for Daredevil. Apparently, when, I don't know if it was test screenings or just, the powers that be saw wind of what was actually being filmed, they're like, no.
Right. And that's what those are designed for. The new DC boss, James Gunn, had zero involvement, gave notes, but Todd Phillips didn't use them.
Oh.
That's dangerous.
Yeah. And I feel sorry for James Gunn in a little way, because he came in and announced this whole reboot of the DC universe. He's taking charge along with, I forget the other dude's name, but whatever. I'll put it on this, or whoever edits this will put it on the screen later. But he's getting shit for every bad decision that was made before he came in.
Correct. And like this was already a dumpster fire. You can't blame me for starting it.
Yeah, like The Flash had a shitty reception. I personally like The Flash movie, but a lot of people didn't, and I can see why. And it did not do well in the box office.
Yep.
Nobody watched Blue Beetle.
No.
Nobody watched Aquaman 2.
No.
It's just, but James Gunn is sitting there getting stoned to death for each one of those things that he had absolutely nothing to do with.
Poor guy. The musical aspect was largely downplayed in marketing, with director Todd Phillips at first insisting that it wasn't one. Because it's supposedly a musical of sorts, is it not?
Yeah, one of the reviewers I said that Joker didn't sing very well in the musical on purpose because his character wasn't a musician. I mean, this is the same guy who played Johnny Cash in a biopic. Joaquin Phoenix can sing. But apparently he intentionally doesn't sing well. Which I don't know why you'd want to watch a musical where the music isn't that good, especially if you're going to have Lady Gaga, who's an actual famous person.
That's her thing.
Yeah, music is what made her famous. And then to not, I don't know, apparently most of them were like dream sequences. I don't think musical aspect would have bugged me too much, but I just don't understand the aesthetic of going from this to this.
Yeah.
One of these things just doesn't combine right.
Yeah, that's... I got nothing for that.
That is the worst idea I've ever heard in my life, Tom.
Yes, it's horrible, this idea.
Next up, cinema score was a D. Lowest ever for a comic book film. I mean, that's just oof. Needs $450 million globally just to break even. It may lose the studio over $150 million.
Which is more than the budget of the original movie.
Right.
The firm declared super-duper bankruptcy, which is terrible news for the company's only stockholder, Homer Simpson.
The film was panned by fans and critics, currently holding a 33% score and 31% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. That's low.
Even a shitty movie, the audience score, the people that intentionally see the movie, will at least give it like sort of okay reviews.
Yeah.
Even like I think Morbius got like 50%. I don't know for sure, but I've seen some bad movies where the audience at least kind of likes it.
Because you always get those people like, oh, this is a guilty pleasure thing for me, or whatever. Yeah, absolutely. Domestically opened with 37.8 million, lower than comic book films like Morbius and The Marvels. Wow. Ouch. Warner Bros. Discovery is already over $40 billion in debt. And the big one that I'm going to go to a different thing for, this one's a little longer, but bear with me, people. It's been revealed that the original ending for the first Joker movie had Joaquin Phoenix's Joker carve his face in front of his supporters. Christopher Nolan, director for the Dark Knight trilogy, killed that idea, believing that only Heath Ledger's Joker should carve his face, because that was kind of his shtick, right? Mm-hmm. With Nolan no longer at Warner Bros. After the HBO Max debacle, there was no resistance to the idea for the sequel, which supposedly, from what you had shared with me, or well, I think it's what you were trying to share with me, and then I heard the spoilers, supposedly Joaquin Phoenix's Joker gets killed in Arkham or in prison or something, and the person who killed him starts laughing maniacally and begins to carve his face, alluding to the idea that that person is Heath Ledger's Joker.
I've heard that too. Joaquin Phoenix gets shanked in prison.
Yep.
And then the guy who does it carves, the smile onto his face, but hey, Christopher Nolan can't bitch. He doesn't work for Warner Brothers.
Right.
I don't think it's supposed to be the same Joker necessarily, because there's still going to be that age gap. This is supposed to be like the early 80s.
Right.
So in Heath Ledger wasn't that old to have been in Arkham back then. But still is an Elseworld, sort of continuity connection. It seems kind of shitty. It doesn't bother me so much if you wanted to... Well, let me rephrase that. The reason it bugs me is because the movie's called Joker. The idea of carving your face and having that's the Joker, it's not Joaquin Phoenix who is the Joker, it really does completely unravel and undo the first movie. It's supposed to be the origin story of the Joker.
Yep.
Todd Phillips said, I never said that the Joker movie was about the Joker. The movie was just called Joker. Well, I don't usually do that, but
I'll do it.
It's the audience was supposed to watch it thinking it was Joker.
Right.
They're intentionally fucking with the audience, intentionally tricking you. Ha ha ha! What you thought we did isn't actually what we did, and that's just assholery.
Yeah, it's very much so. A lot of assholery. And it bugs me because, and especially when, like, the comments I had made going into seeing the first one about, in order to really respect this movie or to enjoy this movie, you need to not go into it from a comic book movie standpoint. Look at it as a thriller or what have you, in a different light of this character that we have all fallen in love with. Cool. So when you make that change mentally and you look at it through that lens, you grow to appreciate a different take on a very beloved character. And then they go back and say, like, oh, well, no, that part isn't even a factor, isn't even relevant. It just, you're shooting yourself in the foot, and you're hurting so many fans that loved that project. And I would imagine flocked to see what should have been just an amazing sequel.
Yeah, I mean, it really is hard to screw up. Just have the Joker be the Joker and do Joker-y shit. One thing that the movie apparently does is it spends the majority of the movie where, well, let me put it another way. At the end of Joker, you saw like the riots and him dancing on around the burning police cars, and like, yes, the chaos is this fucking city that I hate is just getting what it deserves.
Yep.
And then in the sequel, he's like this broken guy again. He's quiet. He's in a prison cell for most of the movie. It's a courtroom drama where he basically his criminal defense is that he's split personality, that he's not really the Joker.
Right.
He's just this troubled guy. And he's just like a broken person all over again. And he's not this agent of chaos anymore. So it completely unravels and undoes everything that the first movie did. It completely undoes the whole movie.
Not a great plan.
But to have the whole movie supposedly be like that does not fit. That does not work.
And Lady Gaga, who does Harley Quinn, apparently it's just Lee Quinzel, or something. I don't think they use the name Harley in the movie.
Seriously?
I'm not 100% sure about that, but Harley's like a nickname. I don't know, whatever. Like the manic laughing, the high-pitched voice, the jokiness of her character, she's just more subdued and depressed. And like doesn't do that Harley Quinn type stuff. That bugs me. If they would have, what I think the movie should have been is have a parallel story where Harley Quinn is out in the world being treated like shit, and then she goes to Arkham and meets Joker there, and then they bust out together and wreak havoc that way, and like have some other sensationalized thing happen. Yep. You could even do the courtroom thing where he's similar to where he's on live TV, have some chaos go down in the courtroom. Yeah. Apparently, Joker's followers like blow up the courtroom and he gets out and then rearrested. But Joker's not the instigator of it. It's just a slow, depressing courtroom drama where they talk about everything that happened in the previous movie without really much action in this movie. One of the biggest action pieces apparently is when the guards rape Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. He gets gang raped in Arkham. Oh. Which I don't know why that needs to be in there. It's just excess cruelty and just yuck. Yeah. Like what? Why? What are we supposed to get out of that as an audience?
And the thing that then bugs me, you take everything that we've just mentioned and the details that we've heard is, as with any degree of spoilers or leaks or anything like that, it's like, okay, well, that's what you heard, but surely
you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Those are small pieces, and there's got to be stuff in there as redeeming qualities. And I can't imagine that there's anything within that. And again, the critics and the audiences are starting to show and are starting to voice their opinions that there is none of those redeeming qualities within this project.
The only positives I've heard is that Lady Gaga and Joaquin Phoenix do put in a good job with the material that they had. Okay. They are good actors. And that is a positive of the movie. But
that's fair.
Still a shitty movie around them.
Yeah, and you can't fix that. I mean,
and I'm not going to watch the movie because I don't want to have. It was a perfect movie. Yep. It had a beginning, a middle, an end. The ending was a little bit ambiguous, where he's like dancing away and the footprints of blood behind him. Is that in his imagination? Did he really kill that lady? Yeah. Some of the things that he experienced, how much of it was in his head, a little bit ambiguous, but most of it was at least true because he did kill people and he was incarcerated for it. But it's a good and fully encapsulated story. And this goes in and intentionally pulls apart each individual element that you liked, undoes it, and then kills the character.
Yep.
And said, nope, this other person was Joker all along. Fuck you, audience.
Yeah, we just don't, you don't need something like that. And it's, I mean, even everything that you just said as far as service to the character of the Joker itself, but then still having nods to the DC universe and the classic stories that we have fallen in love with. We saw Bruce Wayne. We met Thomas Wayne. We saw at the very end, we got the glimpse of what tied together that then brought the killer to the Waynes and that whole tragic event. We still got these little drops of those stories that we have grown up with and that we have loved, which just added to the perfection of that movie. And to your point, to have that all torn apart in a second one, that's no.
Harvey Dent is in the movie. He's the prosecuting attorney who's trying to give Joker the death penalty.
That, I actually extra don't like that.
And there's an explosion and they allude to his face being hurt.
Are you serious?
Why so serious?
What? That almost makes me hate it even more because that's exactly what happened in The Dark Knight. No.
Which means it really can't be Joaquin Phoenix's, or excuse me, it can't be Heath Ledger's Joker because Harvey Dent would have been, a different origin story for him. So it's not. It's just an alternate reality take, an Elseworld, a parallel universe. But I'm not going to watch it because I've seen too many movies where they undo the original movie, and I'm sick of it.
Yeah,
I'm just not going to do it. I don't have to watch every movie.
Correct.
I'm a big DC fan. I watch pretty much all the DC movies because I love those characters. Even a shitty portrayal of the characters, I'll still watch it because I like DC shit. And I'll take what I can get. But in this case, I'm going to avoid it on purpose. And I don't usually do that.
I'm with you on that one.
Speaking of avoiding things on purpose, please don't skip our next episode. And if you want to know what we're going to talk about, hit that like and subscribe button. Or don't. We're going to get replaced by other characters pretty soon anyway, so what difference does it make?
That was well placed. I didn't know where you're going. I like that one. Until next time, guys.
Cheers, folks.